Hey, what's going on, people? How you doing? This is James from MyTakeOnReality. We're waiting. I was waiting a little bit for Natalie the Lawyer Chick to come on. She might be a little busy. So I wanted to come in and touch base with everybody because I know we had some folks waiting. Wanted to say hello. Hopefully everybody's having a most awesome Wednesday or Thursday. Oh wow. The week is flying by, y'all. Week is flying by. Now, per my thumbnail, you guys know that I'm talking about the sister wife custody slash child support. We've been going ham with this whole thing. So I was very much looking forward to talking to Natalie Lawyer Chick because I wanted to get the perspective of somebody who works in the legal field as an attorney. Now, this is very important because as we talk about this, and even as YouTubers, as we kind of pontificate about these legal issues, we just have to keep our feet firmly on the ground. And I wanted to give Natalie her opportunity to come on and talk about her perspective with regards to how a lot of this is being pushed forward. Let me check one thing before we get too far into it. Okay. Yeah, it's cool beans. Some of you guys may be familiar with Natalie. She is Natalie the Lawyer Chick. She has her Natalie Lawyer Chick. She has her own channel where she covers a whole plethora of legal issues and things of that nature. Very cool. I watched her for a long time. Like I still watch her. I'm subscribed to her channel. So I'm a subscribe. I guess I'm a chicklet or whatever. But yeah, it's she's very cool people, very friendly. She gives a very interesting take, which is what I like about talking to people like Natalie, because she has a very interesting take, especially as how the law is applied and not necessarily trying to find punishment, but actually trying to find justice, which is very important. So let me check, see what some of the folks are saying in the comment section. Oh, okay. Fifi, I have my cocktail. Good job. Good job. Sorrowful. Good now. Yeah, I'm good. Uh yeah, it's lawyer day, flying chancla. Uh spicy Ritas. Cheers. So yeah, we'll give her a little bit of time just in case she's having a little trouble. Because sister chicklets. Yeah, right. Sister chicklets. Yeah, so check out her page. I have it in the description to my thing. So yeah, we have some folks loading in. Awesome. Um yeah, let's shoot her my number just in case. Because sometimes like depending on the creators, like I have one way that I usually connect with creators, and some folks have different ways, and so it could be a little cross communication. So I just want to make sure that we touch base and give her every opportunity. Uh, did it start yet? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Uh, yeah. Oh, I wanted to. I'm going to be doing a video soon about Maddie's podcast. She talked about boundaries. So I was going to give my thoughts on some of the issues that she had talked about with regard to setting boundaries and how boundaries work and why you set boundaries, the best reasons to set boundaries, so on and so forth. So look forward to that video possibly tomorrow morning, especially depending on how tonight goes. Uh yeah, so we have a one. Okay. Susie in the house. All right, all right. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happening. May have to reschedule. Like I know, like you never know. Like with that's the one thing with working with certain professionals, like things may come up which may prevent them from being able to you know, really schedule anytime. So if she can't make it, I'll be a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, I will be very disappointed because I wanted to talk about the cold stir. It feels like a knife in the kidneys, you know. But but yeah. But What's this? Did anyone else notice that Mary was wearing the same sweatshirt in the upcoming episode where she did where she goes to visit Cody and Robin that she wore when Janelle came over to her house? Ooh. Well, I mean, I think that might be a point too. Like, I think as soon as Janelle left, her headlights, her tail lights weren't even down the driveway before Mary was grabbing her coat and her keys to run over to Cody's house to report back. So kind of is what it is. Hey everybody, Tracy, Marie. Yeah, I know. I hope she makes it too. Let me see, I'll check my email real quick. Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I hope everything's okay. Because life is fragile, people. Like sometimes, things come up. So yeah, but some of the questions or some of the things that I wanted to talk about, just so we even have like kind of a little groundwork. First and foremost, I'll provide a little bit of a disclaimer. Like anything we say on this channel, especially in this discussion, it should be clear and understood that this is not legal advice. Okay, don't go to your local courthouse and be like, I saw on my take on reality, hopefully with Natalie the Lawyer Chick, that they said this, that, and other, and I want to invoke that rule. Don't do that. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. We're having fun talking about these theoretical issues, and this is kind of one of the weird things that I really wanted to talk about, or even stress with Natalie Lawyer Chick, was that even as we talk about a lot of these issues, there's only going to be so much we can actually talk about as far as specifics when it comes to this particular case. Why? Because family court proceedings are not public. Okay, like, so regardless of what people may tell you, like, you can't just go down to the courthouse. Like, I can go down to the courthouse and I can sit in you know uh, uh, uh a trial where somebody gets unalived or raped or assaulted or whatever the case may be. I can sit in those trials, with the exception of when it involves kids. The second it involves juveniles, like they're very tight about like that information getting out. They're very tight about like the documents that are being passed forward or turned over. Like how much money Cody actually makes, how much money Christine actually makes. That's going to be closely held information. Um, the only way we're going to find out about any custody order is if they reveal it. If they tell us what the custody order is, they could have a custody order and nobody knows what the custody order actually says or what the limitations for that custody order is. So there's that. So, anytime we talk about it, anybody talks about this case, really, they're talking about it in generalities. So, this is strictly for entertainment purposes and informational purposes. When it comes to child support, I've always taken a position that child support is the right of the child, and it's not necessarily something that's used to punish the non-custodial parent, nor should it be something that is for the custodial parent. It's a tool that could be used for the custodial parent for the betterment of the child, but it's not, so you can get your hair cut, you know what I mean, or make payments on your brand new car if you're the dad, or the nails or hair done if you're the mom, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's it's child support. It's not anything else. So with that being said, it's a right of the child. So even if it was a situation where, in my opinion, even if it's a situation where Christine has like millions and millions of dollars and Cody makes $20,000 a year, he should pay something. He should pay something for that child. And whether Christine, if the better situation that Christine is in financially, then that just means that you don't have to necessarily use or utilize that money. You have the freedom to be able to take the money that Cody, whatever money Cody contributes to Truly, you could take that money, set it aside, and create a little nest egg for Truly when she gets older. Like, that would be my suggestion. Like, you don't have to, I'm not going to take him to child support because I don't need his money. The money's not for you. The money is for one is for your child, but two, as a responsible person, he should feel the need to contribute something. He should be contributing something to the life and the child that he helped bring into this world. That's just the way I feel about it. So I'm not mad at anybody for thinking that Cody should contribute, and I think that that's fair. Um, Yeah, the Spicy Rita said Truly could save it for college. Yeah, if she could save it for college, if she doesn't want to go to college, she wants to forego college, she wants to go hit the trades, and she eventually wants to, hang a shingle, then she could, start her own business. That could be seed money to start her own business. If she wants to start investing in real estate or whatever the case may be, that could be a start. If she wants to purchase a home, that could be a start. Like, these kids, hell, maybe she want to get that car that's hot to death. That could be a start for her. So that's something that I'm looking forward to it. Uh seed money. I see what you did there, Spicy Rita. I see what you did there. Let's see. Yeah, so like I think that that's part of it. I did want to kind of touch on like with Cody's historic involvement, his visitation, the lies and misunderstandings. So these are some of the things that I was going to go over with Natalie. Hopefully she can join us. Like she still hasn't hit me back yet, so hopefully she's okay. Like backloading responsibilities of visitation. She's keeping them. I think that ultimately, we could talk to Natalie about it, but I think that what Cody has been setting up the entire time has been a narrative where he's saying that he wanted to have custody or visitation with Truly, and Christine is standing in the way of that. She's somehow denying him the ability to have the visitation or time with Truly that he wants. And so, therefore, he wants, like, there's a weird thing that happens sometimes with non-custodial parents where they think if they can go to court and prove that the mom or the dad is keeping the child away, that somehow that may reduce their responsibility financially for the child. This shit is not true. Hey, that's not true. At least in my state, custody and support are two different places. In fact, they won't even talk about, and depending like and where I'm at, they won't even talk about support during your custody hearings, and they won't talk about custody during your support hearings. The only way they make that kind of reference is if you maybe did have like an inordinate amount of time that you spend with the child, and maybe there's a question, like if you're in support court and there's a question as to whether you actually have custody, because you have the child a majority of the time. Like, say the mom, just as an example, the mom was given custody, but the dad has the child Monday through Friday. Puts the child on the bus. They live in his house. They eat his food. They go to school from his place. He lives across the street from the school. And then, Monday through Friday, he's there doing homework, everything else. He's taking care of the child. Then come Saturday morning, he takes the child over to his mom's house. The child spends the night, so Saturday to Sunday, and then Sunday night he goes and picks the child back up so he can put the child on the bus or put the child in school on Monday. In that particular instance, there's going to be what's called a modification. When you start talking about custody, I need more money for custody. You don't even have the child, so that'll be a whole discussion. So that's the only time they might even entertain the question of custody during like those types of issues, where they would entertain the question of custody during a support hearing. Other than that, oh, well, she never let me see him. Well, sir, that's across the street. If you want to get a modification as far as child custody, that's across the street. If you want to talk about how much you're going to pay per month, that's in the custody place, domestic relations usually, or whatever. So it's things like that that I wanted to talk about. Um, Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like a lot of these orders, we also have to understand that um you can always apply for modification. So just because you get an order that says one thing the first time you go, that may or may not be the end all be all for the full, term till the child reaches the age of majority. So the child's 14, 15 years old, all of a sudden, boom, you know, something has changed. Dad wants more custody, wants more visitation. Maybe mom is saying that, the visitation schedule doesn't work because, you know, the child is supposed to go over to the dad's house so many days a week or whatever, and the child is now involved in some kind of after school program or some kind of thing that they want to do. The child turns 16 and they start to develop a life. They want to do things with their friends, so they don't necessarily want to go over to dad's house. That could be like modifications. Things have changed. Your moving situations, if you move or you live with certain people, that could be a modification change. Like there's all kinds of reasons why you can get a modification. So even if Cody gets like Christine gets a huge award as far as child custody or child support, if Cody gets kicked off the show and all of a sudden he doesn't have that income anymore, like there's no basis that you can say that Cody can walk off of Sister Wives, because this is one of the things that I say about Cody's like whole presence on Sister Wives. There's no reason to think that Cody's going to walk off of Sister Wives and onto another reality show, or there's no reason why I would think that his reality show slash entertainment career is going to continue beyond the show. So if Cody is terminated from the show, that would be a change. And he could have his income or his support order modified from that point. So there's a lot of things that kind of come into play with this. And these are some of the things I wanted to talk about with Natalie. Let me see. I haven't heard anything back. I hope she's okay. Because we've been communicating, but and I got like my little thumbnail. I got an intro, y'all. So let me see. I'm gonna see if she's in the chat. Maybe she's in the chat. Uh no, I don't see her. I don't see her. So I will give her a little time. Um what's this? Catherine Vega. Let's also bear in mind these people don't live in the same city or the same state any longer. If Cody is true to his character, I highly doubt he's going to be shelling out any gas money. Right. Yeah, that's what's jacked up too, because they do have a history, or at least, they did, both of them, I think, did a really good job of trying to seed the ground a little bit with some of the statements that they were making on the show. Like, as a for instance, uh Christine made it a point to talk about how Cody doesn't come out to see truly. Like, she made it a point to say, during the course of what was it, during the course of the 1-9, the panorama, that Cody wasn't coming around to the house, that he wasn't visiting. And he only came around, I think, twice over the course of the 2 years. And he was literally down the street. Like, he was like maybe 5-10 minutes from the house. So, and from what I understand, every time he left the McMansion, if he wanted to go into town, he had to drive by Christine's house. So you're driving by her house, and at no time do you turn your rig into Christine's driveway to say, hey, truly, just even to wave at her from the window or anything. So it'll be difficult, I think, from that perspective. If she's able to substantiate that, it'll be very hard for him to say, well, Christine kept me from her, and I want to have her in Arizona, another state, when I wouldn't even visit her when she was down the street. Like, it's just, yeah, it's hard. Cody is also trying to see the ground, I think, because he's trying to make the statement. He's been making the case throughout season 17 And even in the season 18, he really started like pressing hard, even in the look back and the talk back episodes, about how he, it's up to the mother, and they have a culture of the mother making the children available to the father, and he doesn't have availability with the children unless they make the children available to him, and therefore he's getting screwed over. And these are some of the things that he pointed out. And I think that is where he's trying to make the argument of custodial interference, um, basically saying that he was abandoned uh, by Christine, and she wouldn't let him talk to Truly. She wouldn't let him be involved. So he's going to try to cede the ground the other way. I think that's kind of how the court battle is going to come out. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When you get to court, you're new. Okay. So a lot of the statements that you think, cases and arguments that you think are so brilliant, this is brilliant. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna say this, and they ain't never seen nothing like this before, and this is gonna be incredible. When I make these statements, this judge is gonna blow his hair back, But the judge has heard all this shit before. Like, the judge has heard everything that you're gonna go to court and argue. They've probably heard that day 5 or 6 times. Oh, she won't let me see him. I would spend more time with my child if she would make a way. Like, the judge is used to that argument. So it's not a surprise that you're going to say it. They're not even amazed that you did try it. Like, of course you tried it. I think you're going to try it. Not going to work. So, with that, it's a little bit uphill. Where are we at? All right, we're about a half hour in. Like, I'm going to, you know what? I'm gonna, I think these judges aren't gonna listen to the poly lifestyle rules. LOL. Yeah, yeah. And that's one of the things, like, that's also one of the things I wanted to talk about with Natalie, like because there's a whole doctrine of clean hands. And this is where it becomes like really troublesome, is that when you start to talk about like the polygamist rules and guidelines and what your expectations are, I can sit here all day and say, I understand that you grew up in this kind of culture. I understand that this is the way you were brought up. I understand that this is why you think the way you think. However, just because I understand this is why you do what you do and why you believe what you believe, that doesn't necessarily give you a legal standing to be able to say, this is why I do what I do. And this is why it's fair. But let me, you know what? I'm gonna in fairness, because you guys came in, I could go on all night about this stuff. But looks like Natalie maybe isn't going. So I am going to open the floor a little bit for everybody to come in. Anybody who wants to come in, we can chat for a bit, and then we'll just reschedule with Natalie. I'm sure maybe something came up or she couldn't make it. So I want to reschedule with her. I'm sorry if you guys came in specifically for that. But we'll work it out. We'll get it done. All right. What's this? Negla 3. The $5 super chat. Truly barely knows, acknowledges him on camera. I only trust babies and drunks. Yeah, Vino Veritas. You know what I mean? And one is truth. Yeah, but kids, I'll say this, and I've always said this: like, kids and pets will tell on your ass 100% of the time. They will tell on you 100% of the time. So if you like, when you are a parent and you are barely involved with your child, you can tell because your child doesn't know they're supposed to act a certain way to make you feel comfortable or to make you not look bad so you can save face. So if you never pick your child up or hug or kiss your child, when you go to give them a hug or a kiss, they're gonna look at you like you got a head growing out of your shoulders. Okay, a third head growing out of your shoulders. What the hell is going on? Your two-faced mama jamma, put me down.
I don't know who these people are. Why you keep smiling at them, trying to pretend like you cool with me? We barely on first name basis. Mom, you know what I mean? Like it's just not how it works. So yeah, truly told on him. Who is McKelty's oldest daughter? She told on him when he went over to the house trying to grab her and pick her up, and she wouldn't come to him, and she wouldn't even give him a high five or a hug. She was like, "Okay, I give you a high five. Get the hell out of here." And then she went and hugged her dad or whatever. Like that's just you not being around. They're just not. They're not used to you. And even like the whole Bambino stuff. Oh, these my little Bambinos. You know, they're too young, really. Babies just kind of go to whoever's holding. But as they get older, it'll be interesting to see whether they acknowledge him as well. I guess not now because he doesn't speak to McKelty anymore either. So, but good point, Nicola. That's a excellent point. Yeah, kids will tell on your ass every time, every time. Speaking of myself, yeah, Bambino kills me. Little Bambitos. uh, oh, yeah, yeah, Kathy, you got me. I'm a little under the weather. But let me see. Oh, I'm just checking through, making sure I'm not missing anything. Let me check my phone. Call me. All right, guys. No. Oh wait. Oh no. It's me. Okay. All right. She could tell the judge how her dad told her to ride a bike. Yeah, right. Actually, it was Aspen's husband. Cody just traumatized her. She could tell about that. I guess that's what you're referring to. You know what I mean? Gary Burgers bringing in the taking shots. You know, you could tell you little Truly could go to court and tell the judge how her dad traumatized her. She didn't want to look at a bike after dad got finished yelling at her and barking at her. All right. I have visions of Cody approaching Truly, and David walks in and she calls him dad. I know. If he's around enough, you know, like and see, here's the weird thing about that kind of thing. When you're a bonus parent, sometimes it's not in the name. A rose by any other name, I guess. It's still a rose. A parent, a person who acts like a parent, even though they're not called mom or dad, they're viewed in that capacity because they make themselves available to that child in that capacity. So, Truly may call David, you know, David, Mr. Woolley, but the true test, and this is one of the things I talked about with my last video about David and Cody meeting. The true test actually comes in is where, Truly has her first complication. She has an issue at school or there's a problem. Who's her first phone call? Because whoever she calls first, that's a daddy. You understand what I mean? Like, Cody could be dad all day and she could call David Mr. Woolley. But if something goes down in school and she pick up the phone and her first phone call is to Mr. Woolley because she knows Mr. Woolley will pick up the phone and Mr. Woolley will come down to the school and Mr. Woolley will make sure everything is okay, then her daddy is Mr. Woolley. You understand what I mean? Like you can call yourself Daddy, Papa, uh, Peepaw, Man to Man, or whatever the hell you want to call yourself, Martian Manhunter, whatever you want to call yourself. At the end of the day, it's not what they call you, it's how you make them feel. That's where the rubber meets the road. And if anything, that's where Cody should be more concerned about. This family, the way they kind of roll a little bit, and even with the whole debacle with Robin and the kids and adoption and all that, that came out from a place where I want to have absolute control. I want to be called dad. Robin had, I think in the first episode, Robin, when she was introduced to the show, in the second episode, she had her kids calling Cody dad already. Cody had done nothing at that point to be their father. He's just the dude that's rotating them kids' mama's wheels. That's it. Like he didn't do anything to be their father. Now you might be around, like even in a case where you're around more than their natural father. That's a relationship that I think has to be developed. And if you're a bonus parent, you don't force kids to call you dad. You let them choose that. You know what I mean? As a dude, I'm just saying, like, you don't force kids to call you dad. I'm your father. No, you give them that feeling to where they feel comfortable with calling you that. They might call you that because it's more convenient for them to call you that in front of their friends because you're the man that they friends see all the time. They may call you that because they genuinely feel like you're their father because you're there for them, and that to me will be more important. I look, names and titles don't mean anything. Titles don't mean anything. It's how you treat your kids and how your kids see that adult. So, like, I don't know. I know that's important to Cody because I guess what else does he have really to hold on to but that? So, it is what it is. Was this Negla 3 said, my children don't call my husband dad. They have their own. And husband respects that. Yeah. They call him papa, stepdad. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. You can, if you're secure enough, and hopefully, if you're involved with somebody else's children, you are secure enough to understand that you have to make a road for that child to be able to communicate and deal with their natural parent. As a custodial parent, you know what I mean. You don't have to replace people. As a, I've seen that situation before where a single mom felt like she had to replace the dad because the dad wasn't coming around and she felt responsibility. And the one call is that as a single mom, you don't have to be responsible for a dude who's not involved. If he doesn't choose to be involved with your child, that's his fault. That's hit on him. That's not your responsibility. There's enough things in the world that you have to deal with and you have to take care of that you can't be responsible for somebody else. Oh, it's my fault he's not. No, it's his fault he's not around. I don't give a damn how well you guys get along, how nice you were, you weren't. Like, there's nothing that's going to keep me from talking to my kids. I don't give a shit if me and my wife fall out tomorrow. We fell out, okay? But when I call the house, I expect to talk to my kids. I don't give a damn. We can cuss each other. Ray, you mother, put my kids on the phone. You son of a toso. Okay, you asshole. And she put the kids on the phone. Hey kids, how y'all doing? What's up? Okay. How's your day? All right. Everything cool at school? All right. Well, you have a great day, you hear? All right. Okay. Your mom want to talk to me? Okay, that's fine. You guys, I'll talk to you later. What you say, you mother? Go crazy, go ham, lose your mind, whatever. But you keep your relationship open with your children. And I even said that with the case of um as the dad, your relationship with well, I'll say dad, but because it goes both ways. As a non-custodial parent, it doesn't matter how your relationship with the custodial parent went or how it went out. Okay, it's important that you are around for your child, that if something happens to your child, that you are there, that you are available. If something happens to the custodial mom, like if something happens to Christine, is would it be better for Truly to go with Cody, the stranger, or for Truly to stay with David? Or if David and Christine, something God forbid, knock on wood, happens to both of them. Knock on wood, that's real wood. You know, if something were to happen to both of them, would it be better that the child, stay with stranger Cody and Miss don't open the refrigerator unless you have her express permission, Robin? Or is it better that they go to live? She goes to live with Janelle. because that's the adult she's familiar with. You understand what I mean? Like, so it's critical that you keep and maintain those relationships with your kids because you never know. Like if they hit hard times and you need to take in your child, you want to have that relationship to where you can step right in and say, okay, well, if you can't do it, or if something has changed, or you feel like you going through some stuff and you need to focus on you, and you really don't have the time, temperament, or patience to deal with the baby, then I could take the baby and then we can work that out. And then when you feel like you're ready, we can come back together. And then if it's appropriate, the child can go stay with you again. But you have to make yourself present for your kids. Like it's because that's the most important thing. Like sitting there being mad about, oh well, she left me and I don't appreciate the way she left me, even though I wasn't paying attention to it. I didn't do nothing right by her. She shouldn't have never left me. Like forget all that stuff. But yeah, I 100% agree. And if you're as long as you're secure, you came into the relationship knowing that the person that you're courting or dating or however you want to say it, you're interested in has a child. If you enter into that relationship, they have a child. That's part of the understanding that even if that other parent isn't involved, there has to be a party in the back of your mind where you understand that at some later point, that other parent might come back and get involved. Uh, somebody said something about wills. Wills with guardianship for minors will take care of that, so the state doesn't decide for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. The only complication that you really have with that is the parents. Sometimes, like the state won't step in if there's a living uh, parent or natural parent. The state will give that parent priority. Depend, at least in my state. Um, but that is an excellent point. Like if you want something to happen, whether it's with your assets or with your children, your most valuable, most valuable thing you have going. If you want any say with that, you want to have it written down somewhere. You want to have it written down somewhere, preferably by an attorney, so that there's no question as to what your wishes are. Everybody has that. Like even if you're with the the other parent. Things happen. You know, terrible things happen. I know somebody who lost both their parents in a car wreck. Lost both parents. Um, the car went off a bridge into the water, and everybody was saying that like the mom was a championship swimmer, she's a champion swimmer, and she couldn't. She never came up. He said she never came up, so she must have been down there trying to help him, and whatever happened, and neither one of them surfaced, and so the children had to go within the family, and nobody knew who should take it. So it was like whoever volunteered. But that should be conversations. As gruesome and grotesque as those conversations is. oh, I'm a little ill, y'all. As grotesque as those situations and conversations may be, they are conversations that need to be had. Nobody's looking forward to going, but we have an understanding, a clear understanding, especially as parents, that one day we're not going to be here. But we have to make sure that, especially if we have minor children, that our minor children's needs are going to be met after we're gone. Like we just can't approach life is too fragile for us to approach it like we're just going to be here forever until the child no longer needs us, and then we get called home. That's just not how things work. So, but with that being said, let me just click through one time. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Natalie. I'll have to reach out to her. But we'll reschedule. We'll reschedule because I'm very excited about talking to her. She's a force on YouTube. So we're definitely gonna bring her back. Um, I am going to. I'll give you guys the last 20, which is running for an hour. I'll give you guys the last 20. Let me get the mm, 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 mm. Do 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 dilly do. All right, here we go. Put this in. You guys want to call in? That's cool. I'll leave it open for a little bit, and then we can we'll bounce out, and we will come back when we can get things popping. But we got before we get too far afield, let me give a big shout out to our mods in the house. Lizzie B once again hold it down for a player, and then we also have new to the mod team. We have Brittany, not Brittany, in the house. So thank you guys. Thank you both. Negla 3, what's going on?
Hey, James. First of all, congratulations to Miss Brittany. Not Brittany, that's my girl. She's my riding dog with my Vaseline and my boots, and she's holding my earrings. Okay,
I heard
that's all
that.
I'm
I
saying.
heard that.
No, but the reason why I wanted to call in, and I don't know if I had explained it or whatever, but so for about 13 years, I did do child support enforcement in Ohio.
Okay.
And now that does not make me a legal expert. Again, it was like maybe I want to say 10 years ago was the last time that I did that. However, some people do have fallacies that they think about with child support, like, oh, well, they make a whole bunch of money and they're on TV and this and that. No, that doesn't mean that, th- there are worksheets and things like that
Right.
that need to be figured out. And then also, so just because the father, and actually, and I will say about 15% of my cases or my caseload was non-custodial mothers that weren't paying their fair share of,
Hmm.
of the child support. Um, and so it doesn't have anything to do with anything that we deal with financially. Only thing I was doing was collecting money for the babies, because either way, the baby still got to eat at least peanut butter and jelly at night, or the baby
Right.
still got to get to and from school, or the baby still got to, go to the doctor. And from what I understand about their culture, there are a lot of things that are a little bit suspect. And even Christine had done some things that were a little, statute of limitations is over, and she did it to support her kids. So what I mean, to each his own, but not just Christine, but the other mothers as well.
Right. Right.
But moving forward, my thing is like with Lord Fauntleroy, I just need that. It's just, you know how like you just want to see him in a jumpsuit somewhere, like just I can't explain it, because it's like you're continuing to live your life and you don't understand how you ruined. First of all, you're proud about the fact that you have 18 kids, but you ruined like what, 14 of them. And I'm not saying he's personally responsible, but 14 of them don't want to have nothing to do with you. And truly legit, I remember when I was that age, and I remember it was like, well, you didn't call me. You didn't call me on my birthday. You forgot my birthday, as a matter of fact.
Right.
My mom's the one that, put a card in the mailbox for me. You know what I mean? Like little things like that, kids don't forget. And I don't think Lord Fauntleroy is understanding that. Even when I was watching that scene with him, and he was like, oh, well, I think, how did he put it with he was like, well, yeah, well, I have a 7-year-old. And
Oh, okay.
what, you just trying to tell me you still putting them out? Okay, but you can't take care of them. I'm taking care of them, bruh. That's
Right.
what,
Right.
but David didn't even have to say it, but it came
Right.
across that way. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. Well,
Yeah.
that and the fact that if you consider the fact that Truly is only a couple years older than even Cody's youngest. Like because Truly and
Yes.
Solomon are right on top of each other, and
Right.
then Ariella. is like right there next to Solomon. So she's very close to. So you're basically saying, "Oh, I love taking care of my youngest daughter."
Mhm.
To the
Yeah,
mother of a child who's only a couple years older than the child you're talking about.
but I
So
couldn't. But
this
I
is what
couldn't
needs to
fly.
be.
But James, I couldn't fly into LaGuardia Airport to attend your surgery
Right,
when you were
right.
having your back operated on and had no idea how well it was going to come out. But no, but oh no, I have to stay at home for this. Excuse you?
Yeah, yeah.
They're
I
more
mean,
important than me.
yeah, he's gonna have a hard way to go. Like I think you make a couple good points. Like first, I think that it can't be overlooked that there are formulas that, like you call it a
Yes.
worksheet. Where in the state I'm at, they have a formula. They run a formula, and
Yes.
the worksheets basically go into the formula. So you plug in like,
Yep.
oh, here's my mortgage, here's the estate, like the assets I own, here's how much I have in the bank, here's much, how much I put in my utilities and all that. And you run through everything, car payments, all of it. And now, granted, they're not like if you have a $5 million house, they're not going to say
So
that you only got to pay $20 because your mortgage is crazy.
there's a
You know,
cap. Well, at least in Ohio, in the state of Ohio, there's a cap.
Mm.
It's like we give you an allowance for $20,000 a year on mortgage, or you know
Right,
what I mean, like
right.
what have you. I moved on to a different agency, different than child support, but at that time it was and then this amount on medical expenses, which again sorry, there's no reason why Christine should have been stuck with that bill
Right,
by herself. And there's no
right.
reason why she should still have to pay it by herself. And I think that's why Christine also has an impetus to act upon this. Like, she's basically got a statute of limitations. So if she doesn't claim it now, she won't ever be able to claim it as far as truly surgery. Am I
Oh, you mean
correct?
Isabel surgery?
Oh, is it Isabel? Oh,
Right,
okay.
right. So
Okay.
well, because I don't know, and this is where it gets kind of weird too, because we're
Because
able to
I
see
want your
certain,
friend. I want your friend here. Sorry.
yeah, we're able to see certain documents, but we can't see others. So she could add Isabel into that particular case because he is the father. But it very well may come down to a thing where she might have to get paternity issues with her as well, because Christine didn't put Cody on any of her kids' birth certificates.
No.
There's going
Well,
to be paternity issues.
I think
So,
he's only on Leon's, and I want to say
oh, Janelle's kids. Janelle didn't play that shit. Like that's the
he but you know what? And now I think about it, because actually, who was the first one to have babies? Was it? It wasn't
uh,
Janelle.
yeah,
It was
Janelle.
Christine.
No, Janelle had Logan first.
Logan. Okay. Oh, Logan is Janelle's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
apologize.
Logan's Janelle's oldest child, and
Oh, okay.
she was actually pregnant with Logan when Christine and Cody got married. Yeah, it was crazy.
But
Crazy.
how do I? But because Christine, or not Christine, but Mary is the one that found all of them.
Right.
I don't. Okay. All right. Anyway. Okay. I'm gonna need to sober up for work tomorrow, and
Okay.
but
All right.
no. I'm joking, but either way though, I really do appreciate you bringing these legal matters to light, because some people don't realize that I'm not in any way disparaging the religion or the sect or whatever, what have you,
Mhm.
whatever they call themselves. But this is not a way of life to really live that's conducive to healthy functioning of children and things like that, even though the mothers have done great jobs.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
all right,
No, I agree. I agree. Well,
I'm
because
gonna
I
let
think
you go.
also. All right, you have a
Huh?
great one. Thank you
You
so
too,
much. Make
dear.
sure you
And I'm
tune
glad
back in.
you sound better. You still need, look, you need just one good hot toddy, and then you be ready for Sunday. But
You're right.
bye,
You're
dear.
right. Rock on. Oh,
Bye, dear.
all right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Oh, hold on for 1 second, guys. Let me take something.
Settle down, Johnny Appleseed.
Hey guys, I just heard from Natalie. She's gonna pop on real quick. We had some things going on, but yeah. So I'm very excited about that, Natalie. Oh, I'll be right with you, Brittany. Now, Brittany, we had some people come on and some people drop out, but well, before I take any more phone calls, I want to make sure we give Natalie an opportunity. She just wanted to pop on real quick just to clear the air on some things. But awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I got the call, if you will. Yeah. But yeah, so just one of the things that I wanted to touch base with regard to something. So I have right now I have Brittany, Lola, and Jules and Natalie Lawyer Chick. What's going on? Here we go. Hey, what's happening?
Hey, how are you? I'm
Doing
so
well,
sorry.
doing well.
I'm so sorry. Just so your audience knows, and I was telling you this. Hold on, let me see if I can change my mic. I was telling you this. I got so sick today. I was babysitting some kids over the weekend, and I think I got sick from them because one of them was under the weather, and it totally threw off my entire day. I really apologize.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, because things happen. I was telling them that like, oh no, I hope she's okay. She's because
Far
we had
too
been talking or whatever.
understanding.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. Big fan of your channel. For those who don't know, Natalie does she does all kinds of things on her channel, but she does a lot of legal work. She does a lot of case review, which is awesome. Gives a very detailed, very I like to think it's not only informative, but you give a very gracious explanation to a lot of things that happens within our legal system. So it kind of works both sides of it. So it's yeah, some people need to be punished, but there's a certain level of compassion and charity that's given, which evens out like that. So that even-handedness is where justice comes in. So I'm a big fan.
James, I really appreciate that. And I really must return the compliment because what I love about how when you talk about Sister Wives, which I think my audience knows is my favorite guilty pleasure show. And so I love all the reaction channels here that do it. But I love when you talk about Sister Wives, you talk directly to Cody, like, listen, man. and a lot of the commentators are women, that on here, and you're one of the few male commentators, and so it's like guy to guy, like, listen up, this is really what you need to
Yeah,
be
you blowed
doing
it.
to be a decent human being, and you're not doing that.
You dropping the ball, Hus. You dropping the ball. Little fourth wall action. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, you are more than welcome to come on. And if you ever want to come on, because we're going to work it out so we can bring you back on, and we're going to do a full discussion of the ins and outs of the the whole custody and support issues and things that are going on, and maybe some things
yeah,
that I can kind of tease out some of the things that I was thinking about, like some things that kind of popped up to me when it
yeah,
came to some of these issues. One of the big things, like, of course, I gave the disclaimer earlier that this is not legal advice. Please do not go into your courthouse on Monday and say, I heard this on my take on
yeah,
reality. Natalie, that lawyer chick said, so therefore,
yeah.
that's
Don't
not
do
what
it.
this is. But I just want to give like a overall. I also wanted to give an underlying thing because sometimes what happens with a lot of these cases, you get your expectations so high about what's going to happen that as soon as you get that first little bit of it doesn't go your way, all of a sudden the case is lost and everything is hopeless and it's all over. So I
Right.
just want that's why I did that whole video where I was saying we just got to manage our expectations because what I've seen historically is that people will not manage their expectations. They know what's going on in their life. They know what their relationship is with their parent or non-custodial parent or person they're co-parenting with. They get
Mm-hmm.
to court and the judge maybe doesn't see things their way, or they don't see that other person as the evil, terrible
Yes.
person that you perceive them to
Yes.
be. And because they
Yes.
don't see them that way, all of a sudden, you're ready to throw hands up. So,
Yeah, the I know that you've been on for, what is it, 57 minutes now, but I just want to briefly say in response to what you just said, family court is a interesting forum to deal with your family issues because, like you said, the judge or the magistrate, they don't know each person as an individual, nor do they
mm,
even really care about you as an individual. What they care about is the best interest of the child. The best
right.
interest of the child standard is what governs family law court. And so for that reason, sometimes it will be like, okay, yeah, he cheated on you. He's a jerk. He was abusive to you, but he never abused the kids. And, whether or not he cheats on you has nothing to do with the child has a right to have their father in their life. So then
Mm,
you're forced to co-parent with this person who maybe has caused you trauma, maybe has financially abused you, maybe has done something to you. But because the child is entitled to equal time with both parents, you're going to have to cooperate with that. I think a lot of the times the custodial parents coming into it get their faces broke a little bit, and understandably so, because they didn't anticipate that the court is not here to say which one of you is a good person or which one of you is a good parent. Even it's just about the best interest of the child. And so we know that, like, well, I shouldn't say we know, because there actually have been things where the kids were harmed in Cody's care. I think Truly got really sick one time in
mm,
Cody's care, but that was a long time ago, right? And so,
right.
especially with him having Robin in the house, they're going to give him visitation. The amount of visitation that they give is going to reduce the support obligation. Like, you have to be prepared for things like that. And I feel whatever comes out of that case, there's going to be people on both sides of it that are not going to feel like they got everything that they wanted out of it.
Yeah, fair play, fair play. And that's the whole point. I think that too, because even the standard of
Hmm.
like the person not being a good parent is important, because the only way you can stop somebody from seeing their child or having visitation with their child is if you can prove that they're a danger to their child. So it's not even the fact that they're a good parent. You have to prove that they're dangerous.
Doesn't matter.
And
Yes,
and it's a
exactly.
different standard altogether,
It's
different
very,
standard.
very difficult to do, to prove that some, and it's almost like there's an overcorrection, because it used to be that we were throwing kids in the system a lot for basically their parents being poor and not being able to take care of them, and that was disastrous. Like, that didn't work, right? So
Mhm.
we don't take away kids or not give people custody because dad doesn't keep a clean house, maybe, or dad lets the kids stay up super late and eat junk food. Those are parental choices that maybe we don't love. Maybe a parenting class would be in order, but it does not mean that he doesn't get equal co-parenting time.
Mhm.
On the flip side, though, with the monetary side of things, I think it's quite clear that Cody has not provided financial support on an equal level for Truly or Isabel, because I think
Right.
Christine had to pay for her surgery and everything like that. So there's the financial side of things, but as far as visitation is concerned, she might have to do more. It's a shame, because it's clear that he's not truly interested in parenting Truly, but she
Right.
might have to do more to facilitate the visitations, and the court might order her to do more to facilitate visitation, even though it's all a ruse, like he's not truly interested in parenting.
Right. Right. Well, because even with the with that, I can see a kind of an Achilles heel uh, in the argument, like in support of what you just said,
Mhm.
because she actually moved away from him. Like, they were
Right.
essentially, like, for most of Truly's life, she lived in Arizona, not too far from her father, where she had access and he had access to her. And then because
Mhm.
she moved away, to her betterment, like, she had, in my
Mhm.
opinion, she had every right to do it, to make herself happy and whole and complete, and to get herself
Same.
around, people that make her happy. But I can see a world or a universe where a judge might say, well, but you moved away. And so therefore
Right.
you have to, provide either transportation or,
Right.
help with some of the cost or whatever the case may be. And
Mhm.
this is one of the slight things that I kind of really wanted to press, and this is why I was even calling out for attorneys. And thank you for answering the call, Natalie Lawyer Chick, to
Sure.
the rescue. But that's one of the things that I wanted to even kind of mention that, when I talk about like having expectations so high and feeling like you lost something because you might get like out of a setback, that might be one of the setbacks that she receives. But like you
Mhm.
said,
Yeah.
if they can't force him to watch truly, they can't force him to be a parent. So
No.
if she finds that, the court is ordering her that she has to take truly out to him for 2 weeks in the
Mhm.
summer or a month in the summer out to Arizona,
Right.
and he doesn't want to do it, then the court, she can
That
go back,
way.
get a modification and get it knocked out.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So it's one thing if dad or non-custodial parent comes in and they say, "Look, I want to see my child more," and the court gives non-custodial parent the opportunity to do that. It's another thing if they don't take advantage of the time that's given to them by the court, because
Mhm.
then you can seek a modification because you can make an argument that that's not in the best interest of the child to get their hopes up to see their dad and then they don't see them.
Right.
Yeah. So, and someone else asked a question about like, can his visitation disrupt truly school? No, his visitation
Right.
cannot disrupt her schooling. That's why, like, a lot of the times it's like every other weekends and summers. That's a very common visitation split. But yeah, and
Mhm.
like even like there was something that was done in one of the episodes where it was like kind of funny because I don't like Cody, but I was like, "Ooh, that's gonna come back to bite her." And it was when she was taking Truly over to visit Cody, and Cody asked if she had her stuff for an overnight visit, and Mom said it was up to me. And I'm like, "That's actually not appropriate. You should
Right.
facilitate an overnight visit because you don't have any reason to believe that he would be unsafe, physically unsafe for Truly if he were to have her overnight unsupervised. He spent plenty of time overnight with her, all well, relative to the fact that he had 4 wives, but he spent time with her overnight. He has the ability to do that, and she should have just said, like, you're here to see your dad. You're going to spend the time with your dad. So I feel like a court order would likely provide him with overnight visitation, and there wouldn't be any real
Right.
choice in that situation. Mhm.
Right, right. Well, because I can see that too. Like, I don't think that, because again, like even with the idea of supervised visits, that's in situations where there's a danger to the child, or there's
That's
some
right.
issue that you have to be worried about, or something
That's right.
environmentally maybe somebody living in a house or something to that effect.
Mhm.
But or you're
Mhm.
afraid that they're going to abscond with the child. There might be
Yeah.
supervised visits then, but courts for the
Right.
most part, at least from what I've seen, and you can speak on this freely, but from what I've seen, courts have always kind of erred on the side of we want as much parental involvement as we can possibly get.
Mhm.
So we want to give him as much time as we can give him so he can build that relationship and that bond with his
Right.
child if possible. And so they're giving him that opportunity. And I hope that Cody takes that opportunity. Cody, if you're listening, take that opportunity, bro, because they
Mhm.
only get one
Mhm.
shot at this because they only little
Mhm.
once. And once they go on, they
Mhm.
go. But you want to take it. You want him. They want him to try to have as much opportunity to see him. And it sounded like
Right.
Christine, at least from what she had said, which is good on her. Now, like I said, they were. I said this earlier that they've both been kind of seeding the ground a little bit with some points that they've been making. Oh, I want him to have as much custody as possible. That's exactly what you should be saying.
That's what you
you
should be
know,
saying. Yes, exactly.
right?
So, I have very little negative to say about how Christine handled the separation, and especially because at the time of the separation, it was that they were coming out of the pandemic, or it was still the pandemic, whatever the case was. But at the time of the separation, and it was clear that he was not seeing his children. He wasn't seeing them. So for her
Hmm.
to pick up and say, "I have more emotional and financial support in Utah," and to go there and then to say, "We'll be back for visitations," and then to actually come back for visitations, I don't think anything was wrong with that. I don't think there was anything wrong with what she did ultimately, but it just means that when the court fashions visitation, it's going to include overnights, it's going to include inconvenience. And if she's not taking her there, because like you said, Truly started out in Arizona, then she's going to have to pay to have Truly go there, put her
Mhm.
on a flight, send her there, and have her stay for the weekend. I mean, there's no fear whatsoever that Cody's going to run away with her because he's not truly interested, not genuinely interested in parenting Truly. I think that's clear as day that he's not genuinely interested in parenting anyone who's not Robin's kids. So, but the court doesn't care about that. They don't care about that. They
Right.
care about the child having access to her dad, not why her dad wants to have access to her. That's of no interest to them.
Right, right. And I think that that's an excellent point too, because one of the things that I've noticed is that sometimes you have situations where the non-custodial parent won't have any interest in being involved with the child until the custodial parents start to date or they find romance or interest somewhere else. Then all of
Very
a
common.
sudden, the non-custodial parent, oh, I need to see my baby. Why can't I come and see my child? And I can see that. And even with that being said, even to what you had just said, when you get to court and you talk to a judge and you say the only reason why he wants to come around is because I'm dating or I'm married now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he
They
wants to
don't
come
care.
around. Yeah, he
Right.
wants to come around.
They do not care. They don't care if you like, when we were married, now he wants to be a dad. When we were married, he never did anything with her. So what?
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like, so what? Now, when we were married, he consistently beat her. Then we're going to
Then he
worry
got something.
about then the court's going to be like, all right, now we need to do parenting classes, anger management, supervised visitation, maybe no visitation until we know that you're going to be a safe person. And I do see people in the comments talking about how the kids have come forward and said that, I guess Kody had used corporal punishment and things like that. But again, I think he's been too uninvolved the past 10 years anyway for them to really, state that for the record. And it's not something that Christine is saying. We'll see what but if she files something saying that, that's one thing. That's on her, as the
Mhm.
custodial parent to say, I don't want him to have visitation for this reason, but she wants him to have visitation. So I trust Christine that, yes, it's a little tongue in cheek when she's like, you can see her whenever you want because he's not really interested. Right. But
Right,
that
right.
if he turned a new leaf, that she would facilitate it and allow it. And I believe her when she says that. She's been pretty honest throughout this process, maybe brutally honest, and that's maybe why some people don't like her too much. She's brutally honest. So I believe her. Yeah, and I think the only
Right.
real thing here is the finances. That's the real issue, is the money. And
Mhm.
the fact that before because they've never been legally married, um and they count each other as husband and wife, but they don't have a legally recognizable marriage. um she might be able to claim back child support. She really, really might. uh
Mhm.
he didn't claim these kids at all, but like legally speaking, I don't even think he's on their birth certificates. So
Right.
if he
Well,
admits
Christine's
paternity,
kid.
yeah, of Christine's kids. Yeah, he's not on their birth
Right.
certificate. So if he admits paternity, which he has to because it's on national television that he's their father, um, at least with Isabel, he's going to owe a lot of back child support here. A lot. So it's very interesting to me that he made those big real estate moves, knowing that
Right.
that money is it's coming due. He's going to have to pay Christine something,
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Mhm.
I thought too, like with the purchase of the home and then the sale of the other home.
Mhm.
And of course, unless there's some kind of contingency agreement with the purchase of the $2.1 million home where he was going to use the proceeds from the sale of his previous home to bridge, like maybe he took out a bridge loan or a gap loan
Mhm.
because he wanted to put down X amount of dollars on the big purchase home. Um,
Mhm.
that if he puts that money in the bank, that's income. And at least for what I understand it. And I'm looking at it like if you take $1.6 million and you put it in a bank with a pending child support case going, you're
Right.
insane. Like you're
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Like you're gonna get
Yeah.
destroyed in court. You know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? He's on a show on national television. They're receiving money for that. They have Coyote Pass. That's got some type of equity in it, more than likely. which I think they've paid it off by now. So that's an asset. They've
Mhm.
got the money from the sale of the previous home. So, it's not going to be like alimony where she's going to be, because they were never legally married, she's not going to be owed anything for herself for what she contributed. But there is a statutory maximum with each state of child support, and the non-custodial parent has to make a certain amount. Like, how much the non-custodial parent pays depends on how much they make or what their assets are, right? For like the
Mhm.
self-employed, what their assets are, I guess he would fall more under that, right? And whatever his financial disclosures are, he has to disclose, or else he would be committing perjury. All of his assets, which would include Coyote Pass, it would include the new home, and it includes the proceeds from the prior home and the money that he gets from TLC. Now, that doesn't mean that, again, with alimony, when you divorce somebody, and they're like, oh, you contributed this amount, and in some states it's 50%, in some states it's something else, it's graduated depending on how long you've been together and stuff. She's not going to get that, but what she's going to get is probably the higher end of the statutory maximum for child support for Truly. And they would at least backdate that to when they broke up. But what Cody needs to be concerned about, and what I've been kind of contemplating on but need to research more, is, so this I don't know the answer to, but it's just a question that arises in my mind. The fact that they're not legally married and that he did not live in the house with them 24/7, so he was not a permanent resident in their home. I wonder if that means that he's going to owe back child support from Truly's birth, not just from the time that they broke up when Truly was 12, because
Mhm.
how does he show that he contributed the amount that a non-custodial parent should be contributing to the household? And it almost seems like he wasn't. And the same thing
Right.
goes with Isabel. With Isabel, he stopped supporting financially Isabel before she turned 18. He's definitely going to owe something for that. So I don't know if this is true or not. It's a legal question that needs to be answered, but there is a legal question of whether or not he's not going to just owe from when she was 12, when they broke up, going until she's 18 or when she graduates from college. He might owe before then, because he never lived in the home. Like, he didn't really, and Christine said it multiple times, he did not live in the home, so
Mhm.
it's interesting. If he can account, he's probably going to have to account for the financial contributions he made to the children, all of them, before they were, at least for Isabel and Truly as the two youngest, until they were 18 years old. So it's complex. Now, and the other thing, I think this goes to show why polygamy, I find, all lifestyles to be valid, whatever, configuration of families you want to have, as long as everyone's adults and consenting, fine with me. And
Right.
obviously, I'm taking pure entertainment from it as well. So let's be real here. I can't judge because I'm
Right.
getting entertained by it. But the issue with polygamy is that you do not have the protections for the
Right.
non-married wives, right? Or their
Right.
children. They are not protected, because had they been married, right, Christine would have been owed alimony upon their divorce. She would have had a financial interest in the home that he has with Robin, because that was acquired during the marriage. She would have had the ability to stop the sale of that house. She can't stop the sale of that house. She was the babysitter for all the kids, an important role. She was the mom, but she did not financially contribute to that house, and they're not legally married. So she has no
Mhm.
legal interest in the house, in the McMansion, as you guys call it on here, right?
Right.
So she doesn't have any financial interest in that. She would have had a financial interest in that had they been legally married. So that's why when
Mhm.
Cody angled Mary out of being the legally married wife, he really screwed her over too, because then they went on to make more and more money, and Mary no longer has a claim to any of that, and she has to just trust that Cody's going to be a good guy.
Right. Right. And
Mhm.
that's the big screw over. That's a big piss off. But I
Oh,
appreciate the
poor Mary. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, don't trust them. Don't trust them. But I appreciate the fact that you said that, because I too had echoed the same thing with regard to the legality of polygamy as a prospect
Mhm.
of, like, okay, this is something we need to do. We need to legalize it so there's protections. And part of the
Right.
complication that I've always had with this isn't the fact that, because it's always been held out that many people oppose polygamy because of the sexual deviance of it. But that's not the
Right.
issue I had. The issue I've always had is I don't see how a court is going to be able to step into that complex a household and figure out who gets what and who doesn't get what. Like, it's a little easier because we're watching a TV show and we kind of see the
Mm-hmm.
makeup of the family. But
Mm-hmm.
as I've kind of said before, there's not a judge in the world that's going to sit there and listen to, like, watch 13 or 19 seasons of a show to try to figure out who gets what. Like, you have to be able
Right.
to put your case into a brief that makes sense, that a judge can actually read through it and say, okay, I see where this comes in, and these are the receipts I have, these are the notes, and these are the contracts. And so
Right.
your relationship will be nothing but receipts and contracts if you have this type of lifestyle. Who contributed what was the agreement for people not
Yeah.
working, people staying home?
Right.
Were they going to be compensated in some way? How much were they going to be able to walk away with? If somebody is the last person in, say a Robin, but she's a nicer person, more innocent, with kids, and they have four wives who contributed heavily to the household, the last wife is the legal wife, but she was the one who was married the shortest, and now she wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
How much of the equity does she walk away with? Like, these are some
Right.
of the problems and complications that you would have in even trying to propose this as a like trying to create litigation, or not litigation, trying to create legislation where you can
Right.
say, polygamy should be legal, and this is how we're going to deal with divorces and separations
Right.
and child
Yeah.
support.
I think that's so well pointed out. And I think, what even pushes your example further is the fact that in the family law system, now you have contracts, civil litigation, which is different from family. But if we're just sticking to family law, I'm separating from this person and we have children in common and we need to figure out how much he has to pay me for child support and what I get out of this. If you're not married, you just get nothing, right? Now it's
Mhm.
different if it's like, we didn't get married, but we purchased a home together, or both of our names is on the deed. And we made a verbal or written contract that if this doesn't work out, if our partnership doesn't work out, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to get 50-50, right? That's in contract law. But in family law, there's not going to be any alimony that's going to step in. There's not going to be any court order saying you get this and you get that because you guys were not married. Now,
Mhm.
can any of the wives turn around and sue Cody? Because he has repeatedly said on this show, and I always thought that was very interesting. He's repeatedly confirmed on the show his verbal contract that they can leave whenever they want, and he is going to treat them financially fair and split the money with them evenly and not leave them out to dry. That is a
Right.
contract, and they can sue him for that, right? Like, we were
Right.
together, and you said that if I leave, you're going to give me my fair share, and I estimate my fair share to be this much. She has to then, not in family court, in civil court, sue him separately for that, right? What
Right.
you said you would do. And there's no question that he said he would do it, right? They
Right.
sat
Right.
there and they did that panel interview about polygamy and stuff like that. And they were like, what happens if one of you wants to go? And Cody was like, they can go at any time, right? And Christine
Yeah,
was
there are no
like,
prisoners
he'll take
here. Yeah.
there's no prisoners here. Exactly. And then look what happened. So
Right.
that's why this stuff doesn't work, because it's exactly
Right.
what everybody was worried about. But yeah, she could sue him for him saying, I'm going to treat you fairly, and I'm going to give you a percentage, but when you leave, right? And then
Mhm.
she could go that way. But I think the best thing to do is just make sure that Truly gets some money from Cody, probably get reimbursed for that surgery. And then I think the fact that she sold the home that she was living in and took all the money from that, I think is probably fair compensation now that she's found somebody else and seems to be pretty financially stable.
Right.
Because it's just going to be really, really hard that they don't have anything really in writing, it seems, and they weren't married. It's tough.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
And even that, I would like, one of the things that we're, old school, we'd always kind of grew up with, if you have those type of situations where you are no longer with your paramour, you have kids, support your kids, even absent child support order. You don't have to have the court step in and tell you you have to pay so much amount of money each month to your kids. Give money. Give them something. Give them
Yeah.
something, especially something, if you guys can come to an agreement that, each week I want to give you X amount of dollars. then every week you put that on that the first money that you have, the first cut off your check, you write out a check. Try to make it a check so that way you have evidence that you did this. And it's not,
Mm-hmm.
you remember when I gave you that money? But you write out a check and you hand her a check every week. You hand her a check, or you make some kind of Venmo. They have the electronic now. I'm old school. Obviously, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
showing my
yeah.
age with the paper check, but
Paper check.
you you Venmo her the money or whatever the case may be, so that you have one, you have a record, but two, you also can establish or prove that you've been supporting your child the entire time, so that if you do wind up having to go to court or support, custody court or support court for support, you're able to present that evidence to a magistrate or to a judge and say, this is the amount of money that I've paid to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, they
Mm-hmm.
can make a determination. Even if you are underpaying, they'll offset the money that you have paid with the money that you still have due and owing. And that could be a way
Right.
that you can, make kind of ease the pain. Like, there's no way that I think that, even with Cody's, I'm going to do 50-50. Like, there's really no way that you're going to ease yourself out of all responsibility. You will be
Right.
responsible as a non-custodial parent. You will be responsible financially for that child, but you
Mm-hmm.
can do it in a way where you're being responsible and you're looking out for the best interest of your child. I mean,
That's
I
right.
don't know where you fall on that, but
Yeah, oh no, I absolutely agree with that. And I think that that helps dad out if the case ever does go to court. But most times, and again, I don't think we're that different in age. When I came up, that's what happened. If dad wasn't in the house, he sent a check to the house to make sure that the kids were okay, right? And
hmm
people avoided child support by and large. However, as we can see here with Cody, it's just from the things that he said on the show, I'm of the opinion that he felt like, well, you've got a new husband now and you've left me, I'm not paying anything, right? It
right,
feels like that way because all he cares about, all he's afraid of is poverty. And even when Janelle was talking about selling off Coyote Pass or paying off Coyote Pass, he was like, well, I'm not trying to help you. And it's like, that's not helping her to take care of your financial obligations. That's just doing your responsibility. So he sees it as helping them for him to take care of his own children. So I'm pretty sure he wasn't paying anything, probably
right,
salty, and not paying anything.
right. Well, it
So
also took
yeah,
me
but if
to
he had been, it would have been better for him. And now he's going to owe back child support. And I think he is going to have to pay that child support. It doesn't matter if she's married or not.
right. Yeah, he's gonna get rocked. He's gonna get rocked because
Hmm.
the same way the court will look at it. If David gets up, and this is one of the weird challenges that step parents have too coming into these types of situations, is that
Yeah.
when you get to family court, even though you're in the house with the child 90%, 99%, or 100% of the time because they live with you in the house while
Hmm.
you're married to their mom. When you get to
Right.
family court, the court doesn't really want to hear from the step parent. And sometimes you might have a little cutout where certain judges will say, give you an opportunity to speak or give your side of it or give your input. But for the most part, when it comes to the evidentiary portion of it, like you just
Hmm.
don't have a voice. And
Yeah.
that
I mean,
also
unless you're
goes the other way.
speaking to James, unless you're speaking to something where like, oh, dad freaked out during a visitation and he
hmm
acted crazy in front of the kids and uh David was there, right? Just happened to see it. But
Right.
his opinion on whether or not Cody or should have more visitation or whatever is irrelevant. He's not the parent, right? Even though you're
hmm
emotionally, I'm a step parent, so I know what that's like, but it's your opinion really doesn't matter. It's just like, are you witnessing abuse? Are you, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
oh, he
Right.
said he, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you seeing something? Are you some way contradicting something that another person is saying? Otherwise, and then obviously they want to know that you're a safe person, that you don't have like a criminal record or something, you're not going to hurt the
hmm
child. But outside of that, they're not really interested in you. It's about the best interest of the child. Thankfully, what they are interested in though is the opinion of the child. So, Truly's
hmm
very honest, and she says to her
Right.
daddy, like, don't hug me, and I'm happy to leave. She tells
Yeah,
it like
back
it
up,
is.
Tim.
I think Christine and all of her kids definitely benefit from brutal honesty. They're very honest. And
Right, right.
so I think that, at the age of 14 now, the court will take into consideration, well, do you want to spend time with your dad? And if it
Right.
truly is saying no, and the court believes her, and it's not just her being coached, then that I think would hurt Cody's ability to have visitation more than anything else. Because
Mhm.
really, once the child, because it's about the child, that's all it's about. And if it's like, no, it's emotionally distressing for me to be there. He doesn't have a room for me in his giant house, which is so crazy. He doesn't have a
Right,
room
right.
for me, right? Like I feel less than the other children. I don't want to be there. It distresses me. Then maybe the judge will say, okay, well, you just have to be there in the daytime. You don't have to sleep there overnight or something, But
Right,
yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to take a phone call. You have to take phone calls, and especially with the technology now, you might have to do a Zoom call or a FaceTime or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but I,
Yeah.
but I think that that's also like the flip side of it too. Is that the same way a step parent doesn't necessarily have like he can't drag David Woolley can't stand up and say this is what I think as a stepdad, a person taken care of truly,
Mhm.
in a form of family court, like as you said, with the exceptions of what you talked about. But at the
Mhm.
same time, Cody can't look and say, well, because Truly is living with David Willie now and he makes a ton of money, that I am somehow off the hook financially. That's not going to
Yeah.
work either. You know what I mean?
I
So
think
it's
that's
kind of
what he
that,
thought. I think that's what he thought,
yeah,
James. Yeah. Mhm. Is that
yeah,
because
because
he mentioned it, him being rich in like the episode where he met him or something. And then even the
mm,
fact that I mean, Cody should be so ashamed of himself. The fact that Christine even has to file for child support, shame on
right,
you. Shame on you.
right,
You can't buy there's no way he's not going to get slapped with the statutory maximum of child support. You bought a multi-million dollar home and sold a multi-million dollar home and are not paying child support voluntarily. That is insane to me.
right, right. Well, then the fact that you spend so much time trying to you care so much about your image that you've been trying to rehabilitate your image on the show since like season 3 or 4. You care so much about what people think of you, and you care
Mhm.
about like the church saying that you abandoned Mary. That's a big, huge sticking point for him. And then you
Yeah.
don't pay anything for your kids. Like just the sheer embarrassment of the fact that you're on TV should have, sparked them to start stroking out checks. Yeah, I just don't get it.
Listen. Listen, if I'm on TV, I'm calling the family member I have the most beef with and being like, how much is it going to take for you to be quiet and leave me alone? All right.
Right,
So I can be famous in peace. Like, what are you
right,
doing? If you really cared about PR, truly would say, I'd never miss a check from my daddy. Here's my new Roblox because daddy always sends me money, right? Like,
right.
what's wrong with you?
And I just don't get it. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. And to be
I
honest with
don't
you,
get it.
even as a dude who wants to be known as like a father, even if you don't want to be known as a father, you don't know, you've never been on TV at all. These are your
Mhm.
kids. These are your responsibilities. Just as a human being, take care of your babies. Like it's just
Yes.
it's unnatural for you to not want to take care of your children. As far as I'm concerned, like I get there are people out there who don't believe this clearly, but it's
Yeah.
just unnatural for you to not want to take care of your children. The most natural thing in the world for you to do is to provide for your children. And if you can't
Look
do
at
it
who,
financially, do it emotionally. You know what I mean? Be there for
right.
them. You know?
Physically, like, oh, you know what, baby, I'm broke, I ain't got it, but every single day I'm picking up this baby from school, right? Every
Right.
single day I'm bringing her to her gymnastics practice. I'm taking her here, I'm taking her there. And if you did that, then no one could fault you for not having it, but he has it. He has it
Right.
and he doesn't want to
Right.
pay it and he doesn't want to spend the quality time. And I think that's why she moved on to David so quickly because if I remember correctly, he was a single father because the mother had passed away, the mother of his children. So
Yes.
he raised his kids and is involved with the grandkids and everything. And I bet you that just, lit Christine up. Like, oh, look at a man who actually is interested in the family that he generated, right? Like, that's such a big
Right.
difference
Right.
from Cody, So Cody he has nobody to blame but himself, but
Yeah.
him
Right.
not
It's
paying
like that
child
brother
support.
do housework.
And I have a question. How old is Janelle's youngest daughter? Savannah? Is that her name?
Oh well, that's the youngest daughter. She is a little older. She's the same age as Robin's second daughter,
So she's over
Aurora.
18.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
just over 18. So I think she's 19 now, 19, maybe 20. But I think in Utah, she's able to go back 4 years. So technically, uh,
Mhm.
Janelle could sue to get some child
Mhm.
support from Cody for
Mhm.
Savannah. So,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't think
she's
Janelle
not
ever
completely out of
would,
the
but
woods.
in some states they allow the child to sue for the child support. Like, I'm going into college and I need support, and my dad never
Mhm.
supported. Sometimes the child can petition on their own behalf, because I don't think Janelle ever will. I don't think Janelle will
Mm.
ever file for child support for anything. She won't even say she's divorced. She won't
Right.
go through the process with the church. And she's speaking very highly of Cody recently for some reason. So I don't think she's going to actually file for child support, but she should, because her daughter is entitled to have a productive life, and a nice little nest egg starting out would be great for her.
Right. Right.
But yeah. Hmm.
And and that's actually one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that I think that with child support isn't the right of the custodial parent. It's the child support
Hmm.
is for the child. So even if,
That's right.
like I cited that, even if Christine was worth tens of millions of dollars, and Cody was worth tens of dollars, like at the end of the
Hmm.
day, any money that Cody could contribute towards truly, whether she needs it or not, even Savannah, whether Janelle needs it or not, they could take the money from Cody and just open a bank account, throw it into a bank account, and
Right.
then when a child hits a certain age, be like, you know what, this is from your dad. Here's a little nut that you can either open up your own business, you can maybe buy a car, put a down payment on a house, however much money you have, or put something to it, and you can do what you
Hmm.
need to do and help get you
Hmm.
started in life. But that's money that that child is owed. Like that's their money.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so,
Right.
even from Cody, that should be something that Cody, that's what you need to think about, bro. This is something
Right.
that you could give to your child, especially if y'all sit around and talk about estates all the time. You know.
Yes, exactly. And especially with Janelle being so financially minded, it's a little disappointing how much she's going to let him off the hook. But I'm proud
Mm.
of Christine for going through the court system, especially as someone who culturally was raised to be afraid of the legal system and the government because she was raised in polygamy, which is illegal. I'm really proud of her for stepping outside of her comfort zone and doing that.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that it's
Mhm.
a huge turn. Like, because one of the things that I think has always been a big thing with the show is that so many people have kind of predicted that these marriages wouldn't last and
Mhm.
they wouldn't work out. And in season 16, 17, 18, we're seeing basically our belief systems kind of come to fruition, the predictions coming to
Mhm.
fruition. And
Yeah.
I always have to comment, even though they're leaving these relationships, because that's what we've been rooting for, we always have to recognize how difficult it can be to walk away from these types of relationships, especially like Christine, Janelle, Mary, God love them, God bless them. They did what they had to do. They left and when it was good for them. But we also have to keep in mind that there are other people out there who have to walk away and they don't have the type of resources that these ladies
Right.
have, but they're still making these very hard or difficult choices. Or maybe
Yeah.
they're not making these difficult choices because they don't see the alternatives that they have if they do walk out of these relationships. So I think that that's
Right.
something that always has to be kind of kept in mind.
I totally agree with that. It's got to be so tough for them culturally and
Mhm.
societally because the society is not set up for them, right? They're living outside
Right.
of the normal societal structure. The same way that people that are one-on-one in relationships, they never get married, they have kids, they break up. That's actually very difficult to navigate. Yeah, so I completely get it. James, can I just say something real quick about Janelle because this is like a common thing. Like people are kind of upset with Janelle because she's going so easy on Cody. And I have a non-legal opinion about that. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's
I'm so
fine.
excited to be here because I don't have a space to talk about sister wives on my channel. And it's like so exciting. Yeah, but I just hope that people show Janelle like a little bit of grace, the child that she lost, she shared with Cody. And I am of the opinion, I don't think anyone else has to have this opinion. I think that Cody's strained relationship with his children played a um a role in this was which is the one that passed away? Garrison,
Garrison. Yeah.
with Garrison
Big
passing
G.
away, or at
Yeah.
least Garrison. feeling the way that he felt leading to him passing away. I do think that Cody's behavior played a role in that. And the whole reason that Janelle left him was because of his behavior. And I think that she might feel like she waited too long to leave him, right? She wouldn't have left him had he treated her children fairly. It doesn't matter like that he preferred Robin. That didn't matter to her. She just wanted him to treat her kids fairly. He didn't. And so she left. But he had been treating her kids unfairly for years before she left. And I think that she feels some level of guilt over that. And I think that if she doesn't blame Cody, then she doesn't blame herself, right? If he's not that bad, then she wasn't that bad for not staying. And so I don't think she can admit to herself how bad her relationship was with Cody and how bad he was to his kids and still is to his kids. Just like Mary has to say things like, no, he's going to do the right thing. You know, he's not going to do the right thing, but you stayed with him so long and you kind of identify with him because you were with him for so long. And so you can't admit that he's as bad as he is. I think we need to give her a little bit more grace, right? I think she's like totally delusional in her assessment of him, but I don't think she has the ability to accept like who he really is.
Right. I think that's an excellent point because I think that with Garrison, like there's a lot of reasons as to why people make that ultimate decision. So I don't want to minimize it by just saying, oh, it was this one thing that, was too much. But because a lot of times it's many, many, many one things. It's that one thing too many that drives you to it. But,
that one thing too many.
Right. And I can see what you're saying about sometimes because when in these types of situations, there's that lonely moment in the middle of the night where you always ask the question, is there one more thing I could have done? Is there something I could have done to maybe prevent this person from making that I care about, that deeply care about and cherish? I could have stepped in and said one thing, or maybe if I'd have went around the house, or like you said, maybe if I'd left a dad earlier and reassured them, maybe if I'd have found somebody else. And no matter how much people, like I'll get on and be like, Janelle, you're awesome. You did what you could do. There was nothing you could do. Trust me, because when you make that decision, the person, the victim themselves is completely compliant. That's what makes it so difficult. They're completely compliant with it. So there's nothing you could have done to stop it. And no matter what I say to make her feel better, at the end of the day, that question and that doubt will always be in the back of her mind. And there's nothing really we can do to stop it. And so I think that that's, something to point out is that as she's trying to navigate this, one of the things that might play a part, and I'm not saying that this is it for sure, I'm just saying that there's a possibility in the universe of possibilities that, like you said, she may be thinking to herself, if I blame him and I hold him accountable, then how much culpability do I have in that as well? And so that could make it challenging.
Yeah. And it doesn't excuse it, right? It doesn't excuse how he behaves. It doesn't excuse her enabling of him. It's still there. It's still happening. We can all recognize it. I'm just saying that, like, I feel a lot of sympathy for her because, she went through such an extreme tragedy. And I think she really is just trying to, like, hold on to some semblance of, reality moving forward, positivity. And I think getting negative for her, even like when she talks about Mary, her and Mary don't have a good relationship, but she's trying, she's trying not to cast aspersions on this past family that she had, and so, that's what I think it is.
Fair play. Well, I don't want to hold you because I know you came in. Y'all, you got to give Natalie a round of applause because she came in. She was under the weather, but she rocked with us.
Listen, I love your channel. I love your audience, but it was like my honor to come on here. And I was like, I cannot believe I'm sick. So I really wanted to come and apologize about that.
No, it's no worries. We're definitely going to have you back. If you're willing to come back, we will. Bye, bye. I just stumbled all through that. Did you see that? That was terrible.
We all do it. It's live. It's live.
Yeah, right. Live. That's what happens all the time. But if you're willing to come back, we would love to have you back. Yeah, because even if you want to come back, we can talk some more about. Clearly, we can talk some more about continue our conversation about the legality of what's going on as far as the custody and support issues. But clearly, if you want to come back and you just want to talk straight sister wives, I'm here for it. I'm here
Any
for
either
100%.
one, either or, because
Yeah.
it's such my guilty pleasure show. It's like so decompressing for me, and then to turn around and watch you and was it Reality Amanda and what's her name?
Reality Squad, Sarah. Sarah.
Sarah. Oh, that's my
Yeah.
girl. Yeah. So it really does it for me. Okay, thank you so much for having me,
All right.
James.
No
Good
worries.
night,
No
everybody.
worries. Thank you so much. Oh, I got something to show you
All right.
before you go. I'll put something
Oh,
together for
sure.
you. Wait, I gotta find it. Here it is. Oh, here.
Let's get it.
That's amazing.
Yes, I was ready for you. I was ready for you. But yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
definitely gonna roll that
awesome.
next time you come on. So,
Definitely. All right. See you guys
all
later.
right.
That was awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah, we're
Bye.
going. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, the chicklets have just left the building. Well, at least the main chicklet. Natalie the Lawyer Chick. Her channel is down below in the description. If you guys want to click on that, awesome. Like I said, she gives a lot of good insight on some of the things. Not necessarily sister wives, but I think I might even ask her to come on some of my family court stuff because I got to get that rolling. I got to get that up off the ground. So I think she'd be a great uh, kind of contributor to some of that. We got 3 callers in the shoot. We got Jules, Betty, and Sharon. So we'll get to that in a moment. Let me just. Oh, okay. Yeah, Savannah will be 20th December. Awesome. Sharon coming in with the facts. Sorry, I got to it late. Yeah, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys having a little patience with me. You know, things happen. These are live shows. People have lives, and sometimes things don't work out the way they do. I'm glad Natalie was able to join us. I'm very stoked and excited to speak to her. Like I said, she's always welcome to come back to the show, even during the Sunday shows or whatever. Come on down. Next up, we got Jules. Jules, what's going on? Hello, Jules. Jules in the house. We'll give Jules a couple seconds because uh, she might not realize we're back in. Okay, we're gonna Jules stay on. And
Can you hear me?
oh yeah, hey, what's going on?
Oh, great. I couldn't hear you for a second, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, wait."
He's
Yeah,
talking
but
to me
okay,
again.
good. Okay. Yeah, no, I just loved that she touched on the fact that if Christine can do it, but if Janelle really wanted to, she could actually file for Savannah. But
Hmm.
deep in my heart of hearts, I can't see Janelle doing that for some reason. And it's that hook she talked about, that hook, that little hook that she said,
Right.
Cody still got that hook in her. I don't understand if it's, I don't want to use the word brainwashing because I never want to be disrespectful to anybody's belief, but it is very difficult for me to understand as a mother myself how you could see your children crying out for help. And that can't be enough for you to say, even if I don't want the money, my kids need this money. And this is not about me asking you and punishing you and saying, I want this because I don't want Robin to have it. This is about me saying, I've been with you for 25 plus damn near 30 years, excuse my French, and my
Hmm.
children that I have had with you are entitled to this money. I feel like they should be more, they should have that feeling. And even though Christine has been sort of more activated, and maybe it's because she's in a relationship with someone who's a widower and who was a widow and who raised 8 children, she has more of insight because they probably talk about that experience. So it fires her up even more about the things that she neglected to pay attention to, because she did too. She just woke up before the others, but because
Hmm.
she's not, her hands aren't completely clean. That's not, I mean, Christine gets a lot of the glitz and the glamour because she was the first one to wake up from it because she had an opportunity to do so. But
Right.
Janelle is not in her position, and I think Janelle would have probably left Cody if she had her finances in order sooner. I still feel like Janelle doesn't necessarily move with the type of, not aggression, but assertiveness that she should, and honor her kids that way. And what happened with her son is nobody's fault. It's no one's fault, not even Cody.
Right.
However, if you see your children crying out for help, I don't think this is something that just happened overnight. I think those kids have been crying out for help for a long time. There was a season when Garrison and Gabe met with Cody and they were like chopping wood out on Coyote Pass, and they were speaking to him and saying, Dad, we're not angry at you. We just feel like the rules are unreasonable. We go to work and we go to school, and we can't, like, they were actually trying to talk to him and trying to verbalize to him how they were feeling. And I feel like Cody dismisses all of that and tries to turn into a victim this season. I also feel like Janelle rationalizes away everything. She even defends Cody sometimes. And that's something that I have a hard time understanding. Also, not to take too much more time, Mary, I don't know I find it very interesting that she was distrustful towards Janelle and not to the person that clearly showed her that he could not be trusted for 30 years. Is it
Right.
me, or I don't know if I was reading it wrong, but I felt like she had a lot of distrust towards Janelle. She kind of had a little slight animosity towards her, but then again, I would maybe can understand it if you haven't even called to check if I was dead or alive during COVID. You never invited me to any type of function. You
Right.
live in Flagstaff with me. You never even come to my house or check on me to see if am I alive? Am I still? You don't call me. We don't talk. But as soon as the Coyote Pass becomes an issue and it becomes threatened, oh now you can pick up and you can leave the apartment and come and have a chat with me. Now it's convenient for you to find it in your heart to come and sit down with me in my empty house when I'm about to go back to the bed and breakfast. Now you want to come talk. So I can kind of feel where maybe she was coming from with that. But anyway, don't let me hold you. I really do love this channel, and I'm gonna continue to check in and call in. And I love that you got an attorney. This is gonna
Yeah. Natalie
you
Lawyer Chick.
listen. You getting ready to put the kibosh on it? You getting ready to put the hot sauce on this? I'm telling you, that was a fantastic idea. Love it. She is
Oh,
excellent. She is. She
yeah.
really is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
But
fun.
anyway,
Very fun. Thank you
that's
so
my
much for
that's
calling in.
my
I
little thing, I
appreciate
should
it.
say.
Have a
Huh?
great night.
Yeah. Thank you so. And you have a good night too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. We have Betty in the house. What's going on, Betty? How you doing?
Hey, sweetheart, I hope you're feeling better.
A little bit, a little bit.
Well, thank goodness, thank goodness.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Can't
oh, I
complain.
love
How's
what
everything?
Jules said. Love you, Jules. You're perfect. Because just to piggyback off of what she said, I'm going to get pushed back, and I don't mean I love Janelle, but even when she's talking about all this and being so nice to Cody and giving him grace and all that stuff, she also 80,000. How much was her trailer? Do you know?
80, 90,000, I think.
Okay,
80 to
now
90,000. It was
that's what
a
I was
little
thinking.
bit south of 100. It was close to 100.
Okay, well, she's saying her child didn't have a home and they had to live in an apartment. How much of that money could have been spent to put her in an actual home?
Hmm.
Even if she didn't want a permanent home, she could have easily put that as a down payment for an actual home, had and her, with all the investments, everything in the property, she could have actually made money back. Because on an RV, it's going to depreciate the moment you take it off the lot.
Right. Right.
So even if it was just something she wanted to do, rather than say, "Oh, I'm being conservative. I'm going to live on Coyote Pass on this trailer, and we got to go get our own water and can't flush the toilet." I can't even begin to imagine if like my daughter. Let me tell my daughter she couldn't have taken a shower or flushed the toilet. She'd be looking like, say what? I don't think so,
Right.
mommy. And when it comes to the child support stuff, people really I do not think she's going to get that much. She
Right.
probably makes more than Cody.
Yeah, yeah.
with
Well, she
all of
has
her
real
businesses and
property.
everything.
Yeah,
And the court
Christine's so
systems,
good.
Lord, don't send me to hell, but the court systems are fucked.
Yeah, yeah.
I
The thing
mean,
is,
there was this case, like, what was it, not even 6 months ago, that the case finally
mm,
went to trial for the little boy that the father had no idea who he was, the treadmill dad, and he ended up killing him. And the mother had been begging over 300 reports to child
mm,
services, to the courts, to the judges. And the judge, the day before the kid was killed, said, "Oh, well, we still don't think it was enough to take the child away from his father."
right, right,
And he killed him.
right.
My daughter has her bachelor's in social work, and she decided to give it up because it was
Mm,
just breaking her heart. Because she's like me, like I have so many adopted kids. It's not even funny. Well, kids being anywhere from 18 to 40, I don't care. Some of them are 50. I'm like, you know what? The more the merrier. Come on.
right, right.
Uh, but the courts are messed up, and they're real to assume that Cody's going to have to be paying a whole bunch of money or even be forced to is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. I would be surprised if they. I mean, it's the struggle. I think the struggle is just genuinely people have a strong sense of justice, and they just don't feel like unless Cody is forced to pay, because one, that's the only thing he really cares about, and
Oh,
two,
yeah.
that's the only thing it seems like he can possibly give to Truly, because he's not trying to give his time, his energy, his love, or anything else, attention and affection. So the one thing that you can do, the least you can do, is at least start stroking out some checks. And so it's the desire to get that justice for Truly that I think drives so many people. And the reality of it is that domestic court or family court can be a cold, cruel place, and you just don't. It's not really a place of justice. It's just not. Like it's that's why I say like we gotta. I don't want. I just don't want people to have their heart broken. Like so many people wrote me and said, I don't have to manage my expectations. I'm fine. I understand, but I do think that there are going to be people who are going to
Be
have their
shocked.
heart broken when they realize how much Cody is not paying. You know.
Yeah, I agree. And they're going to be shocked at this. Probably the small amount that he has to pay.
Mm,
And part of it, like I think someone else had said, I think it's also about how she had mentioned now he just pops in and they have to cancel whatever plans they're doing, whatever. Because he's probably being vindictive, to be honest.
right.
They
Right.
plan on going on a trip. They're trying to pack, get ready, and he pops in and says, "Oh, hey, I'm here. I want to pick her up and visit." Well, no, we're trying to get ready for a family outing uh,
Hmm.
with all of its kids, and it just breaks my heart. Like, I mean, you can't be a whirling dervish when it comes to the emotion of all these poor children.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
and it's such a shame because I would be heartbroken. I mean, like it's coming up damn near Thanksgiving now.
Right.
So next Sunday, if I call you and I'm a little on the wee wee, means I've been sipping some brandy because I'm cooking next Sunday. My daughter's coming on Monday, so my son-in-law demanded I make like my buffalo turkey. So,
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
oh
you
yeah,
gotta give a little to the give a little to the dish, a little to the chef. That's what you gotta do
tip here, tip there, tip here, tip there.
it.
But yeah, so I will be calling you on Sunday because I love your show and I love your peoples.
Oh, thank you so much. And we look forward to it. We look forward to it. But thank you so much for calling in tonight.
Well, I hope you have
Appreciate
a
you.
wonderful evening, sweetheart, and I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I will. I'm on the mend. I'm getting stronger. Getting stronger.
Eat them greens.
There you go. There you
All
go.
right, baby.
Hopefully get some greens in my belly, get some greens in my pocket. I'll be all right.
Girl, don't we all need some greens in the pocket right now?
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Some hold up for some fold up. You know what I mean? That's the hold
sh-
up for the fold up. But
that's
thank
what
you
I
so
need.
much
I
for
need some
calling
green. I might do a what do you call them? GoFundMe and be like, just because.
in. Right, right.
I mean, we have our little homeless honey on the corner that, well, she's not homeless. She just has her sign up. I
Uh-huh.
call her, I'm probably going to hell. She has a bad leg because she got thrown out of a car when she was a hooker. And
Wow.
I just call her IHOP or Eileen because she leans around and hops. But, I mean, I make sure I give her Miss Rosie money every week, and sometimes I'll bake her a plate and take it to her. But she does have a home. I mean, like I said, I'm just going to hell because I'll call somebody IHOP or Eileen.
Right.
Lord forgive me.
Give
But
her a little something,
they
something.
know me, so it is what it is.
I heard that. I heard that. Well, you have a
All right,
great
sweetheart.
night.
You too, sweetie. Like I said, I hope you're feeling better. I'll talk to you on Sunday,
All
and just
right.
go ahead and forgive me. I'm not Catholic, so I can't do my Hail Marys.
All
I don't
right.
think I could survive it because the poor Catholic priest said nope when
Yeah,
I
no
had my heart
thinking.
attack. Well, no, I had a heart attack, and he walked in the room, and I thought, and he was coming over my head one day. I finally got some sleep. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not dead. I don't need last rites. And my poor husband jumped up and said, she dead? And I'm like, we're not Catholic. We don't do last rites. And the poor man
Oh
jumped
wow.
back, and he said, I'll just pray for you instead of with you. And he backed out, and I never saw him for the rest of the week.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think I scared him.
The force is strong with this one.
Like, I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean to scare him. But, it is what
It
it
is what
is.
it is. I heard
All right,
that.
sweetheart. I love you and love your peoples.
No good. Take it easy. All right. That was Betty in the house. All right. Next up, Sharon. Oh, Sharon just clicked off. Oh, Sharon, what's going on?
Hey, James, how are you this evening?
Doing very well. Doing very well.
Oh, enjoying the show as always. So,
Awesome.
I think Miss Janelle's getting a little bit of a bad rap kind of thing for seeming like she's being lied on him. I ain't so sure she ain't got something in her back pocket. I just ain't so sure she ain't got something coming on kind of thing, is not trying to draw attention for it. And as far as her filing for Savannah and stuff, I don't know. I think with the mental issue with Garrison and that kind of thing and stuff, being a mom that's lost a kid, you get real protective about stuff like that,
Hmm.
and I could see that being an issue for her, as saying, listen, I'm just not going to do this and put the kid through this and that kind of thing. Not that I think Christine's doing anything wrong. I could see Janelle going down that path.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm
that's
just
the
hoping
thing
she's
too, is that
go
that
ahead.
can be a lot because it's also because even as Natalie had kind of talked about, uh, just to kind of enforce what you're saying, is Natalie had kind of talked about they can call Savannah in
Right.
as to testify, and so it could get a little tight for 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 Janelle to go through that and to put
Yeah.
Savannah through that. So I could see that being a reason why she might not do it. Just
Yeah,
to kind
yeah.
of
I mean, even when they were sitting at the table and Garrison was saying, that we don't need a dad, have him kind of thing. Savannah was even saying to Gwen, I think he just, I think he still loves you, so I think she's going on the easy side of things too. So I can see
Mhm.
why, she might not want to do that with them. But I got to thinking about it the other day, kind of thing, with this and him spending time with Robin's kids and it ending up the way it is. I wonder what Antoinette and Richard are thinking, that that's two students that came to see him when they lived in Vegas.
Yes,
Mm. Yeah,
yes,
I'd love to hear their opinion on it, kind of thing. And I'd also love to hear what Leon has to say about everything going on with her mom and with his mom and dad, kind of thing, or their mom and dad.
right, right. Yeah, I think they will probably have the most interesting perspective,
Oh, yeah.
just because they're coming from a way different position.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting. Like I think that each one of them have an opportunity to write a book.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a
Absolutely.
lot
It's
of
like,
books, a lot of volumes can be written about this stuff. So,
oh, absolutely. Series 1, series 2. I mean, they could go
right.
on for a long time, kind of thing, and stuff with it. Well, I wanted to tell you, kind of thing, in the state I live in, I went back in the early 90s, I worked as a paralegal, kind of thing, and with the laws in my state, kind of thing, a lot of people think, okay, just because you pay child support, kind of thing, that you automatically get visitations and they're required and all that kind of stuff. But in my state, they don't. One don't go hand in hand. Just because you get,
Right,
just because you paying child support, don't mean you're gonna get visitation, or don't mean it's gonna be what you want.
right, right.
So
Yes, you say you
I
have
don't.
investigate. Yeah,
Well, and he didn't try. I mean, he said he was going to get a place for her even before Christine left, and he never made a way for her to come over. If they did, but they never showed it to us.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So when I was doing the paralegal, and I'll leave you with this kind of thing, because I know it's been a long evening for you. So when I was a paralegal, I sat through some court sessions and stuff. And so one of them was a gentleman that hadn't paid child support. And he came in, nice slacks, nice dress shirt, had on a like a flight jacket, real nice leather flight jacket. Actually reminds me of the one that Robin put on Mary that day she came out to visit, of getting
The
Cody's
Cody
hug.
hug jacket.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Cody hug, yes. And that man came in and said, "Well, Your Honor, I just don't have a job right now," and had got behind in his child support and everything, and said, "I just don't have a job right now, Your Honor," and stuff. So it's hard for me to, keep myself up as much as my kids. And so this judge had a stack of newspapers over here, classifieds, hands him one and says, "Deputy, take him down to the holding cell, let him sit there for a while and look for a job." So a couple hours later, brings him back up there. Said, "You find a job or some prospects?" And he said, "I found some prospects." He said, "Well, go find you a job. Come back and see me in a week. And if you ain't found a job, you better sell that jacket."
Wow. Wow.
I hope a judge hooks Cody up like that. I'm just telling you now.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
It
We-
most
we
certainly will. Well, listen,
Force them
James,
off the show.
you have a great evening, sir, and it's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure to talk to you and to give you my take on reality.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much.
Have a good
You have a
one.
good evening. All right. That was an amazing phone call. Next up, we have Carmela Carmela QT, and then we'll do Lola and then Miss W if you want to call in, and then we'll wrap up with that because I gotta go run some errands. I gotta take care of some stuff that I've been kind of putting off. But we have Carmela QT coming through. What's going on?
Can you hear me? Just making sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'm still laughing at what Miss Betty said. That was hilarious. I call her IHOP. I like that. But um, I think something that you and Natalie were discussing that kind of stuck out to me was, and I came in middle of it, so I didn't hear the whole conversation, but because Christine moved from Flagstaff to Utah, that a
Mhm.
judge could possibly maybe decide that Christine might have to pay for Cody to travel, or for Truly to travel, excuse me, to see Cody. And I kind of was like, one, that irritated me a little bit because throughout COVID, we all know it was on the show that Cody wasn't really coming around to see any of Christine's girls that were under
Right.
18 at the time. Two, she was already in Utah for over a year before she even filed to take Cody for child support. And my thing is, if he felt strongly like, no, you're taking my kid away, I want to spend time with her, he could have put in paperwork in Flagstaff that prevented Christine from even leaving the state, let alone the county.
Right.
He chose not
Right.
to. I mean, we all know Cody could give probably two craps on even seeing Truly. He's probably only fighting just so he doesn't have to pay, which, on a parent standpoint is trifling as all get out. But it just doesn't make sense why a judge would make transportation on Christine's part just because she moved out of state to a place that might have been better overall for Truly's state of mind, self-esteem, and everything else. Uh,
Right.
Cody's just been a jerk when it comes to Christine's kids, and he's always, from the show, from what I've seen, showed a difference in her six versus Janelle's six, Mary's one, and we all know Queen Robin's kids get the best of him, which, from a parent standpoint, I have two of my own, and
Hmm.
my kid's father remarried, and they have a stepmom that is a lot like Robin, so I can kind of relate where she puts her own children that aren't his biologically first. And of
Right.
course, the one child that they have together is like Ari in a lot of sense, gets everything, is the apple in her dad's eye. And I've watched my own children sit back and be like, well, mom, why does my dad do this with them, but don't do it with me? And we don't live in the same city, but we do live in the same state. And it's always, now that my kids are older, they see it for themselves. I don't have to make up excuses for them,
Hmm.
so I kind of feel for Christine in that sense because it's hard. You want them to have an amazing father. You want your kids to feel loved from not only you, but the other parent because you made beautiful children, but we can't force them to do anything they don't want to do. And it
Right.
sucks when you have to go to court and have a judge get all in the middle of your business and try to demand them to either pay or spend time. But I mean, I don't know how it is in Utah or even in Arizona, but I know I'm in California. And here they base child support and it's different. They do keep it separate. You file for one, visitation is not automatic. They tell you have to file more paperwork and go see family court because they're
Right.
separate. But they will say it's both parents' income, and no, they don't care about the step parent if they work or don't work, if they add to the income in the household or not. Um, and they also look at the time spent with the child. And it's not like, oh, within the last 6 months of you filing, they look back years. And if you're coming to court with like a notebook full of documentation that they're asking for and questionnaires that you have to fill out, and I'm just from outside looking in, I can't see a judge granting Cody 50-50 when, even if they don't use the footage from the show, it's well knowledge out there how bad he's treated Christine's kids. So I can't see a judge saying, well, Cody, I'm going to give you 50-50. You're really going to have to pay child support and then send Truly on her merry way. But that's just my
Right.
opinion.
No, that's fair. Like I think that in order, I think that what Natalie and I were referring to was just keeping in mind that this is a possibility. Like
Hmm.
that there is a possibility. Like if you live in one state with your paramour, your ex, or the person you're co-parenting with, and you move from that state, you could be on the hook for transportation costs or whatever the case may be to help facilitate that visitation, because to family court it's more of a priority that the parents have a working relationship with their children than it is for the comfort of the parents. Sometimes they even do it to the
True,
detriment of the parents. So
true.
we just wanted to put that out as a possibility. Is it likely that they would make Christine pay? Most likely not, because like you said, there's a history of there being uh, a huge absence of Cody not being around, not being involved, not coming to visit the child. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
problems there. Um, as far as like the Cody's ability to get 50-50, that's completely out of the question. Because once the brilliant thing that Christine did was she moved to Utah, she got truly established, then she filed for she did that for a year. So truly had a full year where she was in school, enrolled in school, she's building
Right,
community and she's laying roots. And once that happens, it becomes incredibly difficult for Cody to come in and say, what we need to do is uproot Truly from the thing that she's become accustomed to. After she's
right.
been traumatized by moving, we're going to move her again so that she's closer to me so that I can enjoy 50-50 custody. Because again, like I said before, like sometimes the family court is about the child, even to the detriment of the other parent. They'll look at the
Hmm.
other parent like, even though it'd be great for you, Cody, to be around this child, it's not in the child's best interest to be uprooted twice in order to make you feel better as a parent. So
Correct.
they'll serve Truly's needs from that respect. So he's not getting 50-50. I don't care how much he cries and protests and kicks over, kick stones. Like he's gonna kick rocks.
Yeah,
He's gonna go back
definitely.
and kick rocks. But even then, he's gonna have to pay something. As far as child support is concerned, he's going to have to pay something. Like there's no way, even if Christine was worth $100 million and Cody
Right.
was worth $3, he would have to figure a way. Like you said, they would hand him a paper and say, "You need to find a job or find some way," because they will assign some form of child support to him. And if he doesn't pay it, then he's gonna have other issues and problems. But yeah, he's gonna have to pay.
I'm kind of glad
Well,
that the
he,
courts are keeping some of that private because I can only
Mhm.
imagine how bad the tabloids would be running his income out there. Like, I can only
Right.
imagine, but I won't take more of your time. I just wanted to throw my little tidbit out there. I'm glad you're
No,
feeling
no.
better. You
Yeah,
have
I
your good
appreciate
night,
you
James.
calling in. That's awesome.
It's my first time catching you, so I was able to call in, so I feel good about that. But
There you go. You did a great job, by the way. So don't worry.
thank you. You have
Thank
a good
you.
night.
You too. All right. We have Lola and then Sarah M. And then I'm going to have to disconnect because I got to run some stuff. But thank you guys. You guys have been awesome. Appreciate you guys holding it down for me in the chat and everything. I see a lot of the hearts and stuff. People celebrating the folks. Lola, you are Layla. I'm sorry. I'm reading the stuff wrong. Ain't that terrible? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing very well. Doing very well.
You know, I'm so glad that you brought on Natalie. She was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And she will be back.
I hope so. I hope so. So, James, you know, a couple of things. I know she mentioned Janelle. I have to kind of disagree with her because I think Janelle needs to start paying attention to her kids even now. Because you hear Maddie now recently talking about how Cody was abusive when they were younger. They're still in pain. These kids need the mother to stop living in a different reality and start focusing on her kids. Savannah says, and Janelle said that recently, Savannah said she was going to get her brothers to walk her down the aisle. These kids need someone to stick up for them. And I kind of feel like Janelle's not really living in reality at the moment. What do you think?
Well, I think she struggles because she was trying to make it work with Cody, but from they did a she did a interview with People a little while ago, and I failed to do I wanted to do, but I failed to do a video on it. They had Janelle's perspective and Cody's perspective. In that interview, Cody had said something to the effect of, when Garrison passed away, he misses Garrison. Not, he used to try to make me laugh, and I miss Garrison trying to make me laugh, and that's what I miss about him. It's him trying to entertain me, basically. And Janelle had pointed out that after I call him Big G's, after Big G's passed away, what she had started to do was, when she communicated with her kids from that point forward, she made it a point to talk to them and ask them, and really ask them how they're doing mentally, where they are they okay, how they're feeling about things, and really try to, oh no, we just lost her. But just to complete the thought, to really try to connect with the kids on that kind of level. And if that's what she's doing and that's what she took away from it, then it makes the loss, you know, less. It gives Janelle and the kids something to grow on, to where they took that terrible thing that happened to them and they're moving forward with it in a positive way that can improve their lives. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for calling in, Layla. The last caller of the night, we have Sarah M. What's going on, Sarah? How you doing?
Hey, James, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so I called a couple weeks ago, because my dad was fundamentalist Mormon from Wyoming. And so I have
Okay.
a little bit of insight into, for instance, this is why the show is healing for me, because I have one reaction to watching all of this, but then to hear everyone else's reaction to how Janelle isn't standing up for her kids enough. Like, that is how, when you're programmed a certain way, like, I know why Janelle isn't asking for money, and I know why Mary was offended that she even brought it up. Because when you are in the church, you're taught that you're a chosen people, that your life experiences are different from everyone else, that you can't compare yourself to people who are on the outside world. So they don't look at Cody and look at what everyone else is looking at, that this is like a loser dude. They think that they're still in magical thinking land. And one of the things that you're programmed to think is that as a woman, you do not ask for the money. You get what you get. And it's almost like shameful for you to ask. And that it's more noble for you to just take care of it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I think Mary was a little offended. And when you watch Christine and how she handled it, and the reason why she resonates to everybody else is that she was raised differently. She says that the, like Cody calling her royalty, she goes, oh, that's a him thing. But the fact is you can tell she was raised differently. And she probably is blind to the fact that other people weren't raised the same way.
Right.
especially the fact that and also her dad was a rare one, and that he supported her and loved her like a father loves a daughter, and not like Cody looks at his kids as an extension of himself and whatever else. And, because for instance, Christine talked about how her dad said, go to college, when she was like, well, everybody says don't go to college because it's end of days and it doesn't matter. I was told not to go to college, but her dad told her, Christine, it's fine. Just go to college if you want to go to college. So she was given a different way of looking at herself, that I think she trusted herself a little bit more. So I think when she was ready to drop it, she was able to just drop it and like understand what that really meant. And she's had a sense of self in her that a lot of the fundamentalist Mormon women do not have. And we're looking at not just people who bought into it because they were raised that way. Even if you're raised in that church, you do not have to be a polygamist. The fact that these women made that commitment to actually take that extra step means that there's a point in their life where they bought so far in that it's like so deep in their psyche that it's almost impossible to let go of it at this point, partially because of sunk cost fallacy or whatever. But yeah, it's clear that both Mary and Janelle still think in a way that they're chosen people and that they have to still hold on to the candle of faith in whatever way makes sense to them. They have not left the faith, even if they aren't going to that church. They definitely can still believe it. And I think that's why Mary thought that Cody would come back, because in her magical thinking world, she's doing all the right things that God told her to do. So she just has to wait for Cody to come back, basically.
Right. To be rewarded, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a noble thing to do. And this is what makes you the chosen people. And this is what makes your life different. And you are held to a higher standard in God's eyes. So your life isn't going to look like everybody else's. And you don't necessarily get all the things that people in the regular world get. Yeah, it's sad to watch, but it's kind of healing to hear everyone else's reaction. Like, why isn't Janelle standing up for her kids? Like, it helps me to go, oh, okay, I can see where this is something that I was raised with that's kind of messed up,
Right. No, that's fair play. I think that, like, I think each of them struggle because even aside from the belief system that they have within the community, there is just the reality that anytime you're involved in a long-term relationship for 20, 30 years, that it's going to be difficult for you to separate yourself from that thing. They essentially, because they entered into these relationships as young adults, and now they're all middle-aged folks. And you spend a majority of your adulthood in these relationships. So to some degree, that is part of your identity. And so to
Yeah,
leave that relationship, you're also leaving part of your identity. And then, then you compound that with the fundamentalist teachings. You compound that with the religious doctrine. You compound that with the abandonment of community, and on and on and on. The fact that you're leaving your children's, father or whatever, and you're creating that break in the family that you notice, like it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why I say, like, I celebrate them all making the decision to leave, and I understand the struggle that they have. It's just that I think that so many people want the best for them, that they want them to just, get that one more thing, even if it's, getting a recompense of the property. So
right.
if you have property due and owing to you, we want them to get that property, because essentially, like I said, with the custody stuff, it's just about justice and fairness. It's not about, like, you know what I mean? Like, we just want that fairness. Like, everybody has that justice phone. Like, they just want things to be fair. And this is
Absolutely.
just completely unfair. But at the same point, kind of as you had indicated earlier, is baked into the system. Like, unfairness is baked into the institution of the faith.
Yeah,
So, you're really trying to ice skate uphill, when you're on a quest for justice in this
very
sense.
true.
So,
All right. Thank you, James.
oh, thank you. That was an awesome phone call. Call back anytime. It was
I
awesome.
will. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. That was incredible. I like that phone calls. And we had Natalie the Lawyer Chick join us. She will be back, guys. It's I'm hugely thankful to her for calling in. As she had mentioned, she wasn't feeling well. She still did a bang up job tonight. No shade on that at all. Like she came in, she killed it. So we're gonna have her back when she's 100%. It's gonna be amazing, guaranteed. We're gonna talk some sister wife, maybe talk some law stuff, but it'll be a good time. I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate your patience for making sure everything went off. Sarah. Oh, hold on one second. Did I just do that, Sarah? Oh, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure everything was cool. But yeah, I appreciate everybody having your patience, calling and doing everything. And I appreciate you guys keeping it super cool, super chill in the chat. I want to thank Lizzie B as well as the new moderator, Brittany. Not Brittany. If anybody's interested in modding for me, you can reach me at MyTakeOnRealityQuestions at gmail.com. That'd be awesome. Thank you guys so much once again. I appreciate you all coming in, hanging out with me for a little while, listening to me prattle until we were waiting for Natalie to come in. She came in, she killed it. She will be back on the show. Then, of course, we had the awesome callers. You guys always amaze me with your points of view and your takes. And on this channel, just so we're very clear, even if you disagree or you have a point where you're contrary to some of my beliefs or some of my takes, that's fine. That's good. All opinions are welcome. Okay. I just want to make that point. So thank you guys so much for coming in, hanging out. That's my take. I'm James. This has been my take on reality as I bang up my studio, and I'm out.